Hi, this is Jay Aaseng from Twin Peaks The Return. You're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
Oh, Zip Zap Zop is just perfect for. I mean, it's one of the best improv games ever because everyone's got to be aware.
Yeah, you're right. It's totally improv game. You can because you pull it off in non-acting. I've pulled it out in non-acting places.
It's like you're getting into that sort of Bruce Lee mode where you're just going. You're all just trying to like harmonize, and I think that's what was so amazing with the Balm In Gilead play that you put together. In addition to making us clap every time we did our line, so everyone had this like awareness of the energy that was going around and trying to harmonize in that reality. I'm curious about with that, was that something you created on the spot, or did you think about doing that? Like I'm imagining
I made it all
either
up,
you had
for the most part.
Okay, so each day for the
spot.
rehearsals you kind of made up at that moment.
I had a
and you just went with it.
Idea of I knew I wanted everything to move in a circle before we started rehearsals, but that was about it. Like I had this sense that everything should be always circular. Beyond that, I not too long back read The Empty Space by Peter Brook, where he talked about coming into a theater when he was very young and inexperienced, and being around people that had more experience, and simply pretending he knew what he was doing. I found that I was able to do experiments, I guess you might say, or create games on the spot, because they would eventually lead to some nugget, something good.
And so you were willing to believe in that.
Well, everyone else was willing to believe in it, and it kept working. That's the thing. If it hadn't worked, so
everyone was willing to agree with the way you wanted to sail the ship.
Yeah, everyone thought that I had a plan.
Yeah,
because it always led to somewhere good.
Yeah.
But my only on purpose plan in those moments was paying really close attention once I put something in motion for the nugget, because they're easy to miss. In fact, I think if you can get any group to do something that seems nonsensical at first long enough and pay close enough attention, you'll see things emerge that you'd otherwise miss.
Yeah.
And we build on those. And we had time to build on those. And I think I've told you before that I hadn't read the script when I asked Sheldon if I could do it. I simply knew that it took place in New York City in the 60s, that it was about heroin addicts, and that there were 20 people in it. And that was enough for me.
Where did that information come to you from?
I had a very hard time reading the script because it had 20 people talking all at once. I didn't read the script at all until the whole production was over, from beginning to end. Yeah.
What?
I didn't have to.
What?
You already constantly...
This is beautiful. So you were just directing one scene at a time and leading it to the next scene?
Well, I mean, we had to read through the first day, so I heard it from beginning to end,
This is amazing to hear this process. This is astounding. So you're just directing one chunk at a time and just trusting the whole thing would just unfold. You didn't know foreshadowing, you didn't know...
No, all of that, and you couldn't do this with every play. Balm In Gilead in particular was a play that worked with, because the characters, because there's so many of them, there's only page room for so much.
Yeah.
And what is there is so human that, because everyone, even though in the script isn't on stage, as far as dialogue goes, when you see it on the page, it looks like you don't see a character for 15, 20 pages. But that's not true, because everyone's on stage at once.
They're all doing something.
Right? So reading the script is with Balm in Gilead is so far from the play itself that it engenders that how anyone would have a plan for that play in advance, and not cut themselves off from something better is beyond me. You have a play where you've got 20 artistic collaborators, that you're responsible for, to the degree that you need to make sure there's an atmosphere that they can bring out their best and feel comfortable until they get to their best. And that often means feeling comfortable with their worst in front of others.
Yeah. Feeling okay and free to just be in their element.
Yeah, and it's somewhat of a stereotype to say something like that when you're directing, but there are times when it actually turns out to be true.
Because you're free to cartwheel, you're free to do dive rolls, you're free to really crazily experiment, because whatever someone's given you, you're just going to help.
Well, everyone had to have a reality that they believed to the degree that they had to be on stage for 2 hours, other than having one scene that acts like a bridge in the middle of the play where we cut to the hotel room with the two leads. But everyone was, at any particular moment, likely to be stared at or watched. And everyone else who was on stage with them had to depend on keeping the reality.
Yeah.
That was part of why the ensemble, I think, was so tight, was because it's a lot of exposure to be on stage and have nothing to do except be. Because you didn't want to do something when you were going to draw attention away from what we all wanted the audience to pay attention to at that moment, because everyone's moment, for the most part, and even Darlene, who has that 20-minute monologue, you remove that monologue, and they're still, even the lead characters are pretty close to the level of, say, dialogue, because you have very little else to judge in that play, because it's talking. That you had to have rehearsals where people could become the character that they were playing. It doesn't work for every play, But if you're not going to be actively going after your wand, and you are on stage, and you don't want to pull focus, then you're going to have to just be your character. And everyone is scared of being on stage with nothing to do. Of course you are, So there were a lot of reasons.
So it leaves you freedom to find ways to keep you sort of occupied.
There were so many reasons that play worked. Yeah.
And if everyone's willing to, pull more encouragement from each one.
But yeah, I never
every
read
other person
it until it was over.
So take me through the process of how did you actually hear about this?
I think Sheldon talked about it.
Oh, thank you. Like in a class?
A class learning about a monologue that Lori Metcalf had done, where she picked her nose all the way through it, and it was a 20-minute monologue, and he wanted to kill her for it. It drove him insane, and he was friends with Lori Metcalf.
So for that production,
because he was the one that directed all of them in the early Steppenwolf productions.
Did he do Balm In Gilead?
Gary Sinise directed Balm In Gilead, the one that was the big, and that was the big Steppenwolf play that got them attention outside of Chicago, and so that was the Steppenwolf play that actually made Steppenwolf in the sense that we thought about it later.
During their True West and with Malkovich entering this, was he there?
He was there. Sinise was there. Metcalf was there.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Hot.
Thank you. I think Sheldon, I'm pretty sure this is right, had directed them. They built a stage in a church in Highland Park. That was their first stage.
Thank you.
Sinise, I think, brought Malkovich up from, he was going to school at the University of Illinois at the time, to Highland Park to help him build this stage. Malkovich had tried out for a play he was at the University of Illinois on a football scholarship, and he had tried out for a play because he liked a girl, which is not uncommon. But he had a very... There was something about it. It was thought that he had a speech impediment.
Who had the speech impediment?
Well, either Malkovich thought he had one, or his teachers did.
Oh, gotcha.
It was one or the other, but I don't think it was both. And so he was very shy about the whole thing. And then they came up and built that stage, and then they just went wild and did whatever they wanted. And
Within a church?
yeah, it was within a church when it started. I think it was Highland Park. Yeah, but I wasn't there. I wasn't born yet.
And so Sheldon was helping them out during those times?
Yeah, so he was friends with Laurie Metcalf, and so I found out that Laurie Metcalf had done this booger scene and was curious about the booger scene. And I'd been
booger scene?
Yeah. And
with the 20-minute monologue.
There was a 20-minute monologue in Balm In Gilead.
Yeah, Laurie Metcalf from Roxanne, which is so
did
crazy
the
to think.
monologue in 1980 in New York City. And Gary Sinise directed the production, and Sheldon came in to give them notes.
Wow.
And he found the monologue so distracting. And so I'd heard of Balm In Gilead, and that was how I'd heard of it. But that didn't make me want to direct it. That was just interesting.
Yeah.
But I was, I was very obsessed with the origin stories of, like, Steppenwolf and the origin stories of Sam Shepard and, all of this sort of radical theater. And I was also really into the beats, and so I was reading a lot about 60s New York. So when I heard of all of these things in this play, I thought, I want to direct this. And it had 20 people, and I was it's not, it can't be totally...
I mean, that's daring.
I like to, show off when I was in college.
To fly by the seat of my pants.
And so I wanted, I like big things, like, in the sense that I like driving in LA, but I don't like driving
It's like a
in
challenge, huh?
Chicago. Well, it's more comfortable somehow because the risk is worth the reward more, right?
That's awesome.
Because if you're going to die with
What a
2
great way of
lanes,
doing it.
but if you're going to die with 6 lanes on your way to, Sony, or something that's,
If you're going to put it all on black, might as well
and while
mortgage
that
the
sounds
house,
a
the
little,
kids, and the wife,
a
and the
little
cars.
narrow, you have to think about it from the sense of, in Chicago, there was only a few places you would work if you were at all creative and get paid.
Where were those?
Steppenwolf was one of them, so you can see how few people
What
would do
about
that.
Goodman Theater?
The Goodman Theater was another one.
Another one that what?
Where you could
And the
get
one that
paid.
bites dust.
But for the most part,
Another theater.
so that's what makes the reward larger,
Yeah.
because it's people don't understand the difference between opportunity being outside.
Well, the victory is great. It's like go
and
get the dragon way up in
opportunity
those mountains, and
being outside in 2 places. And,
Hi, baby.
not that there aren't other kinds of opportunity, but you have to make money.
okay. Now, in addition to that, take me through the process of
So I brought it.
how you even came across the characters. How you even I'm trying to think about how minimalistic your information was during the process of this.
I said, we had a read through on the very first rehearsal. We had probably had 2.
Are we still talking about Balm In Gilead?
Yeah, I'm trying to learn about the intricacies.
Mm-hmm.
You want us to change the subject?
No,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I'm following.
Yeah.
I would
yes,
actually
yes,
love
yes.
to read it. I'm fascinated by it
Yeah.
because I've
I think
heard
it's
some
good.
of these stories before, but it's just interesting.
It's crazy. It's like it's like a Bukowski
I wish I could have
play
seen
or
it.
something.
I wish you could have seen it. So I just said, hey, Sheldon, I want to direct this, and I want to direct it over the break. And I want to direct it as there was some reason that I couldn't direct it as a directing project. So I somehow maneuvered that, even though it was... No, what? I'm sorry, I take that back. That was a totally different piece that tied into this somehow, but never mind. So Balm In Gilead, I got him to let me direct it over the holiday break, and he said, you guys can come in, because the guard was there, John the guard, I don't know if you remember John. And
was he there for the read through?
no, he was always in the hallway. He thought we were a bunch of weirdos, but he was the reason we could get in the building, because John was always working. and but he did come to see the show.
Oh, that's
Because he
great.
thought we were all so nuts.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Remember the crowds?
The what?
The standing crowds, like all the way down the hall.
Really?
Out to, out
Really?
to Wabash by the second performance. And not because it was, everyone was like, oh my God, you got to see it, but they might have been. But,
Oh my God, I'm so unaware of that
because there were
awesome
20
aspect.
people in it. And if everybody, and there were only 40 seats in the theater. So, every performance is going to be a sellout because you've got 20
Oh my
people,
God, that theater
right?
was perfect
So
for
everyone invites
experimentation.
one
I
person.
love that theater for experimentation. It was so good. It was so good.
So I said, I want to do this play. He said, okay. He probably said, have you read it? And I probably said yes. And
He didn't ask you specifics?
Knew it had 20 characters in it.
I knew it
That
had
was
20
basically what
characters.
you
I knew
knew.
it took place in New York in the 60s. I knew.
So he
it
didn't
had
ask you too
heroin
many
addicts.
questions like, what's the main character's name?
No, Sheldon,
Or like what?
not at that point. I think
Oh.
I'd done a couple things. And
Oh, I love it.
if anyone was
Dueling
crazy
Sheldons
enough.
here.
And Sheldon wanted someone to do it. And he had said the reason no one could is because you just wouldn't have the time. Which is, and so I had a strategy. I don't remember all the details, but it wasn't like I'm going to do Balm In Gilead. It was what do I want to do? What do I want to do? And it was floating around up there, and then something hit, and it was probably that I realized you could do everything in a circle, and I didn't even know what that meant, but that was what it was.
In a circle. What
so-
does that mean?
It means that you want to keep things moving.
Oh, it's interesting.
There's a line in the I did read the first. I read here and there. I just didn't read the
You
beginning.
know, in
and
Pulp
end.
Fiction, it swings itself back
I know,
around.
that's what I was thinking.
Like,
It's
kicks
circular.
itself in the ass.
Well, someone actually talks about in the play how life just repeats itself. It's
Oh.
about fate and destiny,
It
ultimately.
feels like a Twilight Zone episode, too. I mean, a really...
Because you don't go back and forth in time, but you do repeat.
It's like a flashback
the
or something.
same.
but
There
like
is a flashback in the middle, but the circular thing comes from the fact that even though you just go forward in time, you repeat the same things happen, right? Meaning,
Oh, thank you.
let's say you're a person who, even when they have the video in their bag and they walk right by the video store, and you don't even have to go in, there's a slot where you could put it, doesn't put the video in, and you don't know why, and then you have to pay the late fees. Let's say you're that person. And let's say that you tell yourself you're not going to be that person, and then the next day you don't put it in
Jaimie-lee.
the slot.
Look at the cat.
What about it?
He was, pulling out his claw. And, I was wondering if maybe he's trying to,
I thought you were
something
shooting
out
a
of his
laser at
claw.
him.
Maybe. I thought it was...
If you distract him with the laser, he won't pull on his claw anymore. He'll be like, hey, what's that?
That was a really weird thing he was doing.
I'll take another look. I didn't see
How did you
anything,
come across the characters and what they did? Did you have to read through first, and then you looked at the characters, and then you go, oh,
There's
this
a
would be
character
good.
list. I think
Come here, baby.
Wilson had a 1 sentence description, maybe even, because there were so many of them. I mean, it would be like kid, heroin addict. You know.
So at that point, you didn't know the
so-and-so,
specific things
prostitute.
they were?
Yeah, Darlene, and it wasn't a
Interesting.
girl from the Midwest, but it might have been. And you could tell he wasn't from the Midwest, and everyone else knew because he gets the streets in Chicago wrong. Remember that? We realized that he's talking about the direction the streets run.
Oh.
And then we found out it was like a thing that people had noticed before. I broke the wall. Remember the breaking of the wall? And I made everyone swear that... Who broke the wall? I told someone to throw their coffee mug because I was also always destroying the cheap props, if you remember, right? That's where the whole budget was. We had a $50 budget, and it was all, for anything that I could spend was going to be spent on the same thing that we could break in every performance.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it always made the
That's
audience go,
awesome.
"Ah!"
Oh
you know?
my God.
Breaking shit in food makes people go crazy, and I knew that early. So
Oh, that's right. Didn't you grill up food back there, or no? Did you do that?
At some point, we cooked some
He
shit.
had this guy named Teddy who was like this gypsy.
Oh, God, Teddy! I
and
forgot
Teddy
about Teddy. I added to
would
the...
sing, "There is a balm in Gilead."
I had him in full,
and
like,
it was
drag,
like this golden,
right? Yeah.
And Jaimie-lee wanted Teddy.
He was
because
really
Teddy
a good
was
singer.
Teddy was a voodoo child, okay, from Louisiana. And Jaimie-lee
I don't
goes,
even know what that
"I
means.
want." Well, basically,
I'm not sure I know don't either.
They knew voodoo, so he basically said, I want you to like summon a demon on stage during a performance. Use your voodoo magic. And he's like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. But he was like, wait a second. Are you telling me you have the capabilities to be able to do that? Like,
Teddy,
I just imagine if Jaimie-lee had pushed him further, he would have been like, make a hiney ho.
Was this during the acid performance or no?
Oh, it might have been.
there was
Who
no.
knows?
Okay, first of all, there was
But that
no
would've been
acid
awesome.
performance.
Oh, it was during a rehearsal.
There was an acid read through.
That was neat. I remember at certain elements of the day you'd
Whatever, you know what I mean.
Well,
that's like
You
the
don't
cool.
have to get so technical.
Well, that's like the electric Kool-Aid acid.
We're recording?
yeah.
That's like the.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not.
For
get
my future
permission.
generations. Oh no. Well, I didn't know. No, nothing's happening. I
I
can
don't
always
want to
edit
be on
stuff.
the 1,000-person podcast.
This is
Not
where
really.
the
You gotta
archives-
edit out your part if
this
you don't
is
want
where
it.
the archives-
There's no issue. I could just edit,
I didn't
and it's like you
realize
never
it
even
was,
entered the building.
okay. But I realized what's great about it is everything we know about people from the past. We know because there was always one person in the group, especially when it came to the beats. It was Ginsberg, who chronicalized everything. And about 2 years
Holy
ago,
Soul Jelly
about a
Roll,
year
which
ago,
is
I
like a-
came across a recording of us from that first month when I was in North Hollywood, and it made me laugh so fucking hard. Okay. And
Yeah.
I told you, and
Because what's beautiful is like any of this stuff could
I
just
was
be your
so
own
grateful
personal-
that you had done that. I can't tell you. I was like,
You can
oh my
hear-
God, thank God for
It'd be
Kurt
great to
Clendenin.
recreate that or animate it, right? If we could get someone to animate
No,
that
it'd be great
sequence,
to
that'd be
recreate
fun.
it. I don't think you could get the comic timing down if you animated it, but you could recreate
You know how they
it.
do that with podcasts? They'll animate it like they've. There's a Ricky Gervais one.
If they'd heard it once, unanimated,
Mm-hmm.
then you could animate it.
Mhm,
Yeah, and it could become.
But
a
dude,
thing.
it's so funny because you can always use an alias.
Mhm.
That's what's so funny. It's like I'll be near people and I'm like, oh, I'm recording right now, and like, oh, and I'll notice them back away. Like tonight, there was like those three girls, and I'm like, oh, do you want me to interview? And the girl's like, no. It was just like scared, and I'm like, look, you can use an alias. Like it's totally cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the time to be like turn off the guardrails and just go freaking crazy. It's audio. You can be whatever the hell you want, and anything is an extraordinary. You could be like, and I'm the magical fairy of Fairy Kingland, blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, wow, look who just entered the building. And it's like anything that's said can always become some other character that just entered the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that was Eunice who lives next door. That was Eunice who lives next door. She's always peeking her head in the window.
My pregnant wife Irma.
Yeah, they're like
Eunice,
Orson
huh?
Welles. I've been going down the deep rabbit hole of Orson Welles lately, and all the crazy stuff he did with War of the Worlds. And man, that guy was just such a fun audio prankster. And so,
So Teddy.
Teddy could apparently conjure demons. I think if you
Some
would
few
have
things about Teddy. I don't know. You know them all. I didn't know them all. until
no,
later.
I just know he could conjure demons. And
I
sing
met
very
Teddy
well.
in one of the two places I met most people, which was either in the Harrison Snack Shop or the basement of the theater building. In the basement of the theater building is where I met him.
That's great.
Which is where everyone met him. Which is where he always seemed to be, but no one noticed that at the time.
No,
You
you're
know
right.
why?
He was
always
always there, dude. He was always there. You're right.
Because the only
He was
one who
always
knew
there.
that Teddy wasn't
Yeah.
really a student for the year and a half that he was at Columbia was Sheldon.
He's
And finally Sheldon, and he let Teddy be in plays. Teddy was not enrolled.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
This is incredible. This is incredible.
He would just show up.
He would just...
Like he was one of the
day
students.
there. Like maybe it was the first day of school.
I do remember this.
The other thing about Teddy, Teddy lied all the time.
Oh
all
my
the time,
God.
all the time.
That's actually
all the time.
Oh my God, this is
amazing.
crazy. You're
What is he
opening up a
doing
whole
now?
door
I
to
don't
my
know.
brain.
I hope he's good. I love
Let's find
Teddy.
Teddy.
He never lied for personal gain exactly. He was just, when you hear
Okay,
that
so-
term, what is that term? The psychological term when someone lies all the time?
Pathological.
He was actually a pathological liar. He was the only one I think I've ever met. But he lied about everything. He lied about how he had done a performance as a cat with 20 cats, and the cats were trained, and he lied about everything, and he believed it, right? And you believed it sort of, except that it didn't make any fucking sense. Who would train 20 cats to dance with Teddy? And I mean,
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
yeah. And Teddy, though,
Yeah.
was also really likable, and he had a great voice, and he was enthusiastic, and he was perfect for that aria that I put in, right?
To
I just
insert
cut
yourself
that
into
scene.
this theater community and just like never have to answer any questions. You could always just roll your way out of the. I mean, especially if you're
kind of genius.
God, that's wow! What a wonderful way to play with life. I mean, that was his cartoon, a video game. Apparently, we were all just video game characters.
I mean, it's interesting because
I don't know
you'll
what
get
his
all
life
of the
is
life experience, but you won't get the degree.
Wow, that is so true.
Was it for personal gain or was it just for fun? Like, pathological liar to me implies kind of ill will.
No,
like
but that's what I'm
malice.
saying. Not pathological. That's
What would
not
be a good
illness.
word for that?
That is a
an
good word.
intentional logical.
I mean, he
Intentional logical. Imaginical logical.
We'll put that one in the parking lot.
Imaginal.
Well,
imaginical
with the
logical.
caveat that I believe pathological is the correct word for someone who is simply can't help themselves.
What do you think was the root of that?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Teddy. That's the thing, because everything he had so many stories. So I don't know which one was true.
I just remember he was wearing sort of like this turban, a gold-like thing.
There were
And like this,
certainly
he was just like this
voodoo
flowing, like this, like
involved.
golden entity, you know.
Oh, when he floats on stage, basically.
Well,
My God, he was great. He did.
It was
one
like he was
thing.
the angel of the. It was like the herald, bringing the message, like the roll of the credits of Star Wars. It was like he was like, there
When did
is
that
a
happen in the
Balm In
play?
Gilead.
Was it at the end?
I want to say
No.
it was the beginning of it, right? Wasn't it?
Well, the beginning was the rattling and rumbling. I think I would have interjected.
Did we start with his singing and then rattling and rumbling? Or did we start with rattling and Oh, maybe he was inserted in the middle somewhere.
I think he would have come in like in a place that would have
Joe
provoked the
dies?
audience.
Maybe when Joe dies?
Oh, when Joe dies,
Maybe
yes.
that's what it was. Because it was like the funeral procession.
That was Gabriel, or at the time Todd Schmerich, later known as Gabriel Segal, and Joe LaRocco killed him. That being the actor's name.
Yeah.
In the play.
Yeah.
His character.
Yeah.
Joe LaRocco, I love.
Ch-
I love
Ch-
everyone. Joe LaRocco.
Chuck.
I
No,
didn't see enough
Charles.
of,
Or no.
Before he disappeared.
What do they call him? Chucky or something? There was always like
Chuckles.
Chuckles.
Chalky.
Chalky?
Chalky. It is, and I said that to you. I said, yeah, that's the same name as the drug dealer in Balm In Gilead.
Chalky.
Chalky. Yeah, and he's not the drug dealer.
did.
He's the pimp.
Chucky.
Yeah, there's Chuckles and Chalky. Chalky is the pimp, and Chuckles is the
Oh
drug
my
dealer.
God, Chucky.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. And he never talks.
I
He just
forgot that was the
He
play.
just has like
Yeah,
he just has like a little blackboard. And he writes things down with a piece of chalk.
And I'm
he never
assuming
actually
that was on
talks.
purpose because they're in New York. That someone was
Chalky.
doing like a little shout out. to
Chalky and
Blanford
Chucky.
Wilson on
That was
writing
terrible,
stuff.
actually.
I'm Chucky. I'm
Why?
Chucky.
That his name was Chalky?
Chalky.
Why was that such a problem?
No, the delivery, the actor.
Chalky.
No.
Okay,
No, it'd be great if
Oh.
like his thing is that he's always eating chocolates. I think that'd be hilarious. That's why they call him Chalky. Oh, dude.
I believe in Balm In Gilead he's an albino. They reference him as an albino, and that's why he's called Chalky.
Well, and that's kind of what that kid looked like, but.
Yeah, but he's not Chalky.
I know.
She just doesn't like
So is
the
that
actor.
supposed to be ironic?
I think it would be awesome to. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was probably a shout out by like Anne to New York writing or something. It seemed personal or accidental and coincidence, or as you would say, synchronicity.
So, at what point? Because there must have been a dress rehearsal, and then the actual like tech rehearsal, and then those 2 times where you were able to actually see the full play through at one sitting. How many times were you able to do that?
We ran it through almost every performance.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
And we ran it through to music that would change, and then you guys would, however, I told you not to purposely try to match the music, but if to hear it, and as we were finding the play. Because the other thing was, if you ran that over and over and over and over again, just straight, it would deaden.
Yeah.
And part of it is that it's so raw and rough, like the characters.
Wow. Yeah, just rough.
And we got lucky because they torn the risers out of the theater.
So we had more space.
Well, no, we
was
had
it
all the
theater
wood.
around? It was a theater around, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't theater. It was 3/4, and the audience was really close. and had a glass wall that someone had painted black.
Okay,
It used to
so
be a dance. It was a dance studio at one point. If that helps with the shape.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. Someone had painted that mirror in the back black, and I thought it was a wall, which is what I just remembered I had forgotten to finish the story before. And so when I had told someone to throw the mug against the wall and shatter it, the entire mirror exploded.
During a performance?
During a rehearsal.
Oh
at
my
which
God.
point I made everyone raise their hand and repeat after me. I swear, that's never happened. I never saw this.
my God.
I
swear.
We got up all the glass, and there had been a black curtain in front of there forever. I don't know why it wasn't there.
Wow.
And we cleaned up all the glass. And we put the black curtain back, and we cleaned the glass up in the sides of the wall too.
Incredible.
So it looked like the mirror had been gone for a long time. And
Wow,
when,
that's smart.
When, if ever, someone noticed that mirror wasn't there, I don't know. I'm sure someone did eventually.
That's what saved it, was the fact that it was painted in black.
That's what.
And then the wall behind it was black, huh? Or did we paint it black?
I think the wall behind it was like brick gray. It was the unpainted wall, but there was a black curtain.
What a beautiful thing. Just this little Easter egg. You know, it's like no one's going to question it. No one's really going to care.
I think that curtain had probably been there when it was still a mirror. And then they painted it, and then they put the curtain back. And then the curtain was gone because I needed a foot more space because we had 20 people. So having a curtain that came out even a couple feet was like not going to work. And it was hilarious.
I mean, it was like
Lisa
we were all like a
Gunderman,
rowdy.
the dramaturg.
Oh yeah.
How did you put it? Who was supposed to tell us what to wear?
Yeah,
So
she was
tell me
like our
about that.
fashion.
Yeah,
She was supposed to be like the one.
Did
who's
she do
like,
any of that? Because I remember she was very helpful to me. She would.
Yeah,
pour
she
my
was
Jack
helpful. She was
Daniels.
helpful. Yeah. No, she was like our resident historian of like she was trying to research the era, and she's like I remember I think didn't she come in with she came up with examples of some sort. I don't know if she drew them or just showed us pictures of things, but she's like, I'm imagining this kind of look for you or this guy or these guys. Or did you feel that as well?
I do remember that. I remember she.
It's like you had this team of people who were really.
She was really dedicated. She had come in with drawings and music, I believe, as well, and she had full sketches and a lot of really
sketches.
A lot of fantastic work. But when you had said who was supposed to dress us, I was like, wait a minute, did she not? And I didn't notice, but no, she was very responsible.
Yeah, right. Like the not supposed to, like she dropped the ball on it, but you know what I mean. Like she was like the one who was designated to do that.
Yeah,
she was there you go.
Yeah, no, she was good. She was surly. I liked that.
It seemed like you had like an orchestration of people who were willing to go in these different directions and grab this information and bring it back.
Everyone was so excited. I was so
really
excited.
Cool. Yeah. And the whole team, everybody just kind of. I remember there was one time we all held each other's legs and we were like "Rah!" shouting at the audience outside the wall, outside the walls to come in.
Oh,
we're shouting at them as one organism. Mm-hmm. We'd all breathe in at the same time, like we're like growling at it. And so there was an intermission.
There was an intermission.
That's great. Wow. Man.
Yeah, there is an intermission. Yeah.
I would love.
And that's
to do
probably
that
That's when Teddy sang at the opening of the second act before the monologue. The second act opens with the monologue.
That's what it was.
I remember thinking at the time, and this is what I remember thinking, that if there's a song here and it's Teddy, they'll listen more after because they'll have a contrast.
Ooh, that's good.
Because they're coming in cold.
Ooh,
it's
that's
a really
good.
hard
That's
monologue,
good.
in part because the audience just got back from intermission, and now you're going to just have one person talk for 20 minutes. And
wow, you're kind of giving them a lullaby.
That
like a
easier on everyone, meaning the actor and the audience, was important. So I'm trying to remember. I believe there is some.
Were there any photos that exist of our performances?
There is a great photo of Balm In Gilead, a cast photo. You've seen it.
But there are no photos from like out there in the audience?
There must be. I just don't know who has them.
Yeah.
I didn't take any because I was
I'd love to see the cast photo too.
Filming theater at the time. I was I had some radical thoughts.
Yeah,
And
that's what made it special.
Yeah.
You know, that it had like a
well, that was the thing.
more explosive epicenter.
I felt it was for the people that came on that day, and that particular performance would be extra special because it would never be repeated. I wish I'd done that less, to be honest, because I'd like to see a lot of the stuff now. There's, I think there was a Carter graffiti video somewhere.
Whoa.
There's certainly pictures. I'll send you the pictures. I have some black and white shots from the performance. There's a great one with you standing on a desk with a tie in your head while Ron Kroll looks up at you.
Wow.
And talks in the scene.
Dude.
Where Davis comes in after taking acid with Maple and the maps sing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God, it'd be so fun to put on those plays again.
It
We've
would
got
be
so
fun.
many great ones. And I have a space to do it in it. For free. No rent. Payment.
I think something for like Balm In Gilead, but not Balm In Gilead, would be very interesting to create if you had the right conditions.
Because then you can bring it out into the theater too, where there are plants sitting there in
you can
like do the Tony and Tina's wedding kind of aspect where it's like, oh my gosh, who's a part of what and who's a part of not what. Maybe there are other people there giving clues.
And I think you can speak to a modern audience maybe in a way that, because this is not true, I'm sure it happens somewhere, but I doubt there are that many diners in America where there is hustle and bustle 24 hours a day. Everyone knows each other.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't like each other, they know each other. All of them.
Yeah, they're all just
Except
sort of
one
coexisting
stranger.
in each other's realities and just kind of being a
we
part
don't
of
communicate like that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it would be interesting to modernize that idea of a play where 20 people are communicating, but they're not necessarily all in the same physical space.
Yeah.
Though they're all in the same physical space in the theater. No, I mean, that goes with my whole... I would love to do a play where you were doing a play where you had screens where half the actors are in Chicago and half the actors are in LA. I think I've told you about this. I think I've had this idea for a very long time, and now you could actually do it probably cheaply. You couldn't do it cheaply 10, 15 years ago. And so that's something to think about.
Man,
but now
with
we're in a big world now, so
too.
why limit it to LA to Chicago? Why not LA to Moscow? Yeah, why not LA to Moscow? Moscow's big. Russia's big right now.
Well, I'm thinking especially with projection screens and everything, you could really do crazy. Like, have you ever seen those projections that they've done upon those buildings, and the building goes turns into a face, and the building is talking, or it'll like turn into a black hole, but it's all projected up on a building. Imagine that stuff within a play too. So now they're like, oh, watch out, we're going through the portal, and now you could put this crazy portal behind them where they're going, through it.
Well, I was amazed when we were at Universal Studios over the weekend for their theme park, their studio tour. I'd never done that.
Oh, you went there for the first time?
Yeah. Their virtual reality rides, the Transformers and Jurassic Park, are so incredible. They're so well done, and it's exactly the kind of experience that you're talking about, where this projection seems real. Wow. But I can't imagine the amount of pixels that it takes to make that happen. That's not something you could actually do cheaply. But you will be able to soon enough. But you could do this other stuff quite incredibly in a way you couldn't before.
Wow, man.
And very soon, all of this wow tech will be outdated, but unused in venues because it's changing too quickly for everything to be used. So even as things become cheaper, they'll still be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not pliable, you can use them in a way no one else has before. So you can take old tech and still do something original, which you would have been hard earlier when tech changed slower. You might have an idea to use something with Atari or Nintendo, and the chance that no one else had thought of it was very slim, because there wasn't a lot of tech around.
Wow, and that would be interesting if you did a virtual reality, but it looked like Nintendo. That'd be interesting. You get where everything's pixelated, where you're looking at.
That would be interesting. Yeah, the pixelation as corruption of the body, right? Where reality is like much, reality is solid, but in the story it pixelates to Nintendo. I don't know what the fucking story is about, but that would be something that if you could find the story, that is the story.
Well, I mean, it could be kind of like a Tron thing, where the kid gets pulled into his Nintendo.
Twilight Zone. I was obsessed with the idea of Tron when I was a kid, but I never saw Tron. We had the Tron record. I never saw anything as a kid.
But you had the soundtrack?
We had the record, and it had the guy on the front. Is there a girl
glowing?
In the picture too?
She's standing next to me. I think he's got like
she's
a disc.
Kneeling, like
she might be,
or something, like looking up at him.
She looks kind of like a cartoon, like a.
I remember him holding the disc at his side.
Yeah.
And they're both looking up, I think.
Yeah.
And there was only one song, I believe, on the record that had anything to do with Tron. The rest were they were from the soundtrack instead of the score, and you know that nightmare, right? Where you think you have the soundtrack, and you're like, it's the fucking score. I don't even remember this song in the movie. This is not what I wanted, or it's the soundtrack and not the score. Is what I'm trying to say.
This is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was the worst.
I know what you mean.
The first few times when you didn't know about it and you were young.
Yeah, you didn't know the difference between the words, right? I know the same thing.
You still forget. You think soundtrack and you think of a great song.
Well, that's what I thought.
There are a lot of great soundtracks, but there are more great scores.
Yeah, there's some phenomenal ones. I was always proud of Batman the movie because they did. Prince did a whole.
Great Gatsby is a great fucking soundtrack.
Oh, I gotta check that out. I gotta check out.
Everyone on that soundtrack is great. So
is there singing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Individual artists. So I'm sorry, you were saying. And I was actually very super interested. Tron, the kid in the video game, the man on the record. Was the woman kneeling? They're both looking up at the sky. I remember him hanging the disc at his side.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I see what you're saying.
That's pretty much where I break off in my mind.
It would be interesting. What popped in my brain as you're telling me this is how neat that would be, as if like a painter were to be able to utilize this. Imagine having virtual reality that looks like paint, like you're inside of a painting. Man, it would be crazy.
That would be amazing,
right?
Yeah. So everything.
Imagine you put your hands like and it's like.
And it feels like canvas, so it's but softer because you're in the painting.
Ooh.
Right? So it's dry, but it's not quite dry from the inside.
Oh.
It's never quite dry from the inside of the painting.
Imagine, you add something like that, plus you put people sitting in seats at a theater. Now, while let's say for instance they're flying through, they go up in a hot air balloon, they're flying through there or something, and it's all pixelated, like we're talking like the Super Mario Brothers kind of thing. And all of a sudden,
it's like a big warm marshmallow that's been woven with colored yarn.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, but lots of colored yarn.
Yes.
There's no marshmallow that can be seen, but it's under there, and because it's covered in yarn, it's warmer. So, and that's sort of the feel of being in the painting if you push against the wall, right?
That's good. That's good.
It's soft, but it's rough.
Are you saying there'd be like a cloth thing that they push in their hands against?
No. So you wouldn't have actual yarn. You'd do this virtual thing we're talking about. But this is the sensation. What is the push like? What does it feel like when you push on the painting from the inside?
Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
Because you want the paint to be rough, so it's paint. But you're in a painting, so it should be spongy.
Ooh, yeah, very spongy.
So yeah, I think it should feel like smooth. Smooth, is that even a
smooth.
word?
It totally
Smooth.
is. That's
It
going
should
into the
not be a
dictionary.
word,
That's
It
going in the
shouldn't be.
dictionary.
It's terrible to hear smooth. It should be smooth.
Smooth
Even worse is to hear the phrase, it should be smooth yarn.
Smooth yarn.
Yeah, okay. Right. Well, come get your smooth yarn.
Yeah,
for only
smooth
99
yarn.
cents down
That sounds
here
like
at Mrs. Adolph's
like a
Main
great
Street Corner Store. That was actually the name of our store name.
smooth
Mrs.
yarn.
Adolph's. All right.
Mrs. Adolph, smooth yarn.
I don't know if she's smooth yarn or not. I
Smooth,
never
smooth
knew on a
yarn
personal
sounds like a
level,
Grateful
but-
Dead offshoot band.
or like or something, you know.
Yeah.
Smooth yarn. We're smooth yarn. We're the dumbest sounding.
Smooth yarn.
Smooth yarn. I could see it being like one of those stupid smooth. Not that. Actually, yes. I'm going to say it.
I dare you.
I like jazz. I won't say I'm a jazz freak.
Oh, so you're going to say the instruments are
But
covered
I
in
don't
yarn?
like smooth jazz at all. I hate smooth jazz. I'm a
No.
hater.
Who
Now,
doesn't
what
like
if-
smooth jazz?
I don't.
Now, what if-
I don't like smooth jazz. My boss at
You didn't
Stork,
like WNUA?
USA.
95.5?
No, I did not. I didn't like
Because
the
did
whole.
you give you flashbacks?
The way it says.
Did you give
smooth
flash-
jazz. Well, you are so
Smooth
cheesy,
jazz.
man. Is what I'm
Hey,
thinking.
man.
This is like the cheesiest thing, right? Smooth jazz. And I get a CD for Christmas
Do you
one
mind
year
if we
from my
turn this
boss,
off?
which was like the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting that it's on.
I can always edit out whatever you guys don't want.
It's right at like Motor and Palms.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and if you wanted this to go the other way and go straight down until you get to Palms and take a left, you can do that too.
Good.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much,
Cool.
man.
Oh, for
It was
sure.
so great brainstorming with you and coming up with ideas.
for
And
sure.
It was so kick-ass. I had so much fun at that party, and this is just gonna. I'm just gonna have a lot of great stuff to think about.
All
while I'm
right,
out
cool.
there.
Yeah,
All right,
call
man.
me if you get lost.
Okay,
All right.
thanks. Motoring. Huh?
Or is it upstairs? It's okay if it's upstairs.
I think I left.
Oh, that's fine. I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, no. Thank you. Okay, bye. Oh man, Jaimie-lee Wise. He's like a living beat poet. I've got those friends in my life who are like these living beat poets. Oh man, it's always fun. It's always fun to brainstorm. Jaimie-lee Wise, he's like a Terry Gilliam meets I'll just say it, Fellini. And wow, who else? I would say Lynch, Orson Welles, all the elements that make all that stuff great. Throw in a little seasoning of Tim Burton too while you're at it. But anything that makes any of those kinds of aspects great. Good day. That little puppy. That little puppy was wearing an entire little suit, which is interesting, which reminds me of Alan Abel. Ooh, okay. That's what we're going to do all along this journey. Things that are recognizable, things that we talked about, things that we're imagining. We're going to glue it together. We're going to make it one seamless. Like these trees right now. These trees right now. I'm touching this beautiful tree right now. Wow. Touching these beautiful trees right now. I don't know if these are oak trees or whatnot, but I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you about this tree. It's growing in front of me. I mean, this thing looks like a muscly arm. I feel like I've visited this tree before, and I've recognized it in a dream. I'm the tree whisperer. Wow. Bring out these gems. Here we go. Shine on, baby. Shine on, baby. This tree is amazing. Oh my God. Right now there's a sun that's peeking through the trees as the trees are... Wow. So fresh out here. This feels so familiar right now. I feel this vibe. Each experience is a brand new experience that's concocted just for you. Wow. A series of little moments moving along, unshuffling. By tree. Man, beautiful tree. Beautiful tree. This one looks like a Chewbacca tree. This thing's like Chewbacca tree. Chewbacca arm. It's one of those trees. It's like a shaggy dog. It's like a shaggy dog. There's so many little tiny, like, different alternating brown colors, and just the way that it looks. Man, it looks awesome. It's like furry. You're living. You're alive. Wow, you guys. Look at this one. This tree over here, it's like one of those paper trees. Wow. It's like one of those paper trees. Like little bits of it peeling off the bark. Makes me wonder if that stuff hurts the tree or if it's happy that I'm getting rid of it. Get rid of that old stuff. Get rid of that old stuff. Interesting. See you later. Even you, telephone pole. Interesting. So we went down this list of awesome trees. I'm looking at them right now. And then bam, here's this telephone pole. I'm going to see if I can simultaneously take a photo of this experience. I'm going to post it on Instagram. We're going to name this Trees. The tree families. How about that? The tree families. All right. I just took a picture. Let's see if you're still recording. Awesome. I just took a picture of it. And do a quick little edit. All right? I think this is, so we get the true structure in there. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. All right. Yikes. Oh, yeah. Bright little shadows. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Get some saturation going. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, wow. That is good. Okay, we're going to put in some more shadows then. Just give me a few more shadows. Give me a few more shadows here. Give me a few more shadows. Oh, that's good. See how that blue's coming in? Oh, my God. Forget it. Forget about it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. Good, good. I think it's good. You have to highlight to see the secret messages. Are there secret messages? All right, so you're basically, I don't know if I should sharpen this or not. No, we're not going to sharpen it. All right, so here we go. We're going to call this the, we're going to call it the evolutionary tree family. Mother's tree family. Earth Mother's tree family. That's what it's going to be called. That's it. That's all. Tree family. If you see this, I'll tell you what, if you're on Instagram and you see this, if you decide to follow this down a rabbit hole, okay, so say, should you choose to follow this down the rabbit hole, in other words, check this out on Instagram, Inspirado Projecto Instagram. If you got an Instagram, I would love it if you were to hashtag I am here. Hashtag IAMHERE to let me know that you were here with me as we looked at those trees and we took the photo that I'm now describing to you. I am here. Let's see. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. This will be our secret community. Gene Shepard, do me a favor. This reminds me of what Gene Shepard. Reminds me of what Gene Shepard did with iLibertine. He sort of formed a subculture within the culture that was already growing. So consider this the epicenter. All right, you've now reached the epicenter. You've now reached the epicenter. Here is Mother Nature once again. A tree the Chewbacca tree growing out of. Okay, so anyway, Earth Mother's Tree Family. Look for that. And let's see. I'm gonna put the hashtag in there. I am here. I'm here. That's gonna be the hashtag. I want you to hashtag that too, okay? If you see that. Bammo. Good day. All right. Zippity-doo, zippity-a. All right. No explanation except that. Earth Mother's Tree Family. I will undoubtedly. Oh, thank you. I will undoubtedly. I will undoubtedly come across many interesting synchronicities, which I will share with you. I'll also be recording on the subway, no doubt. Please make sure to thank your local Foley artist, for without this Foley artist of 3,000 strong, these Foley artists of 3,000 strong, working on every little clinkety-clank, every little whoosh, every different weighted and sized tire you can imagine. Motor. I'm looking for a motor. Let me go ask these nice people. We're going to go into the laundromat right now. Oh no, this is a dry cleaning. Let's see what they got to say about motor. Hi. Hi.
How are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Thank you.
Can I see your tattoo really fast? I'm an artist and I really like seeing the art. Thank you. Okay, so I'm looking for a street called Motor, I believe. I'm trying to get to the train. Do you know
Motor, this is Palm Street. The light is Palm Street. You make a left, and the first light you'll see, that's Motor. If you want to go to the station, to the line station, you just gotta go straight down.
Straight down
Passing.
Palm.
You'll see the freeway, and you'll see the station, the metro station.
Do you know how many streets I gotta go
To the metro station?
to get to Palm? Palm?
No. Motor. You said Motor, right?
Oh yeah, I gotta get to Motor. Yeah.
Okay, this is Palm Street right here. This light.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a left.
Yeah.
And the first light, one block, that's on the light, that's Motor. That's Motor Street.
Okay, and that's right near the train station?
Past Motor. I would say like 2 blocks more.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, cool. Thank you. That was tricky to try to wrap my brain around. This is an awesome example of living moment to moment. Coming across a place here called the Dough Room. Craft beer and pizza. So interesting. There's all kinds of interesting stuff happening out here in these parts. when you look around, you keep seeing these examples of these people or places or characters or anything that resonates with any sort of title of something that was familiar to you. There was an open van right there. I just walked past an open van. I looked inside, and of course, there's a building that says Alchemy. Alchemy Media. AlchemyMedia.net. Remind me to check that out. They got a kick-ass bus. This looks like a bus, like the further bus. It can barely fit in there. Blue silver Alchemy. Huh. So I see this building. Sensory sensitivity is a sign of autism. Well, what if we scratch out autism when we say superpowers? Superpowers. Call it what it is, folks. They're superpowers. These are highly evolved minds that have advanced already in their consciousness to the next stage of creation. So, that's what it is, in a nutshell. Actually, in a pecan pie. That's what it is, in a pecan pie. Back when I was a kid, in I remember I'd be walking with Grandpapa across the prairie. You see, Grandmama and Grandpapa had this wide open prairie that seemed to stretch on for eons and eons. And by gum, by golly, my little brother, Leonard, and my sister, Tanya, Leonard and Tanya. All those kids, all those crazy, mischievous kids. So my bro and my sis and I would go trouncing upon Mother's wide green earth. And we went trouncing and trouncing and trouncing all the way through the meadows, the prairies, through the forests, over a frozen creek, of which I think that my pinky toe here is a bit of frostbite, but that's a side note. Can someone hand me a cup of hot tea so I could dip my pinky inside of it and wake it up out of its, what would you call it, zombie state? Perhaps this is what leads to the zombie apocalypse, my frostbitten pinky. I'm starting to question if that's frostbite, if it's gangrene, if it's mold, or who God only knows what else. But I tell you what, we're going to put that side story right where it goes, on the side. Hand me that bottle of whiskey. Yeah, of course I want the Jack. What other kind of whiskey is there? Thank you. Indian. Thank you. Boy. Puts a little hair on your heart there, doesn't it? Ahoy, mateys, I got some hair on my heart. I'll trade you the hair on my heart for that lovely damsel in distress. Boy, I'd trade me my hairs on my heart for that damsel in distress. The hairs on my heart. Oh my God. That'd be great. Oh my God. You know what? What if we did a Jack Nicholson pirate? We'd never seen Jack Nicholson as a pirate. Here we go. Hardy har har. Ahoy, mateys. Swab the deck. Don't worry. I ain't gonna hurt none of yous. Even though I just overtook your pirate ship. What would be a good name for him? What if he played Bluebeard? Okay. Jack Nicholson as Bluebeard the pirate. Jack Nicholson is Bluebeard the pirate. Imagine that. We got a narrator who has like acid reflux or something. He has a hard time like maybe he just ate too many chicken nuggets, and they're like, you could kind of feel, maybe not necessarily vomit, but it feels like, oh god, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where like sometimes if I eat before I go to bed, I'm like, oh no, dude, no, you have to keep drinking water. Anyway, you got a narrator. Coming to the theater. Jack Nicholson as Bluebeard the pirate. Bluebeard the pirate. I love it. Mr. Satay. There's a building over there that says Mr. Satay. At first, all I saw was the mustache. It looks very much like our... Oh my god, that looks so much like our Yachtly crew. Oh shit. Okay. That's all there is to it, folks. Guess what's happening? Another photograph. Here we go. Let's try it. Here we go. Let's try it. Here we go. We're gonna take a photo. Here we go. Don't worry about it. Oh, that's good. That's cool. Wow.
Here's your fun fact. The world-famous Hollywood sign was put in place in 1923 by a real estate developer. Originally meant to stay in place for only 18 months to advertise properties, it originally read Hollywood Land. The sign remained in place long after it was intended to. And in 1949, the word land was removed. Stay tuned to Inspirado Projecto for more fun facts.